It was, and I had the idea. Mark and I had spoken a lot about me doing something totally different after my first film, which was a very small, intimate relationship film, which I loved doing. But after you eat like a lot of cake, you're like, oh my god, I just need a piece of cheese, like or a
I
salami or
mean,
something.
or what do you mean? You eat a lot of cake, you want something like celery or something.
Salty.
No, you want to like cleanse yourself,
I
right?
want no. I want something salty.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
I
Yeah. Oh, really?
No, that's more
See, if I eat
sweet.
a lot of cake, I'm gonna want like a salad
That's why
after
you
to
look
cleanse.
so good.
All
That's why
right.
you look
I don't
like
even
you
know.
look, and I because I eat.
What? You look like a goddamn badass is what you look like. Anyway.
Anyhow, it was really about me stepping out of my comfort zone and trying something totally different, and trying on a different hat. And I love old school thrillers, and I love sort of the old intellectual thrillers where the threat was very real and the characters were very real. And yeah,
No, I was just saying what I like about those thrillers too, like the Deliverance and movies of that ilk, is that you really know the people, so
yeah,
that when
they're character
you get to
driven.
know them, yeah. And it's very simple, but you're like, oh my god, it's not. Oh, I can't believe this is happening. It's I can't believe this is happening to those
them,
people. Yeah.
because how sweet is the guy who has to squeal, like it breaks your heart.
Yeah.
It breaks your heart. You get emotionally invested, and as an audience member you relate so much to them. They feel like you, and that in turn makes you ask yourself, what would I do if I were in that situation? So I loved the idea of telling a story like that, and I love the idea of putting women in there because I think we can be fierce when called upon. And I liked that they didn't know how to fight. I specifically said to Lake, please do not go to the gym. I don't, if
fine.
you have ever taken a self defense class, forget everything you've ever learned. Like, I want, when these girls have to defend themselves, I want it to look like they have never thrown a punch in their life, because I am the person who has dreams about like having to punch someone, and my arm is like in slow motion. And do you ever have that dream?
You mean where you can't do it?
Yeah, where you're physically like your arm won't go. It's in like
No, I
it's
don't
a
have those.
terrifying
I beat the
control
crap
dream
out of people in
apparently.
my dreams.
Oh, I love that. I wish I could. But yeah, so then I went to Mark and was like, this is something I want to do. And he really had fun with it because I think it's unlike anything he's ever written before. And it allowed him to do something different as well. I think, in keeping the stunts looking very real and raw, and I specifically wanted them messy, um, those stunts were real and raw and messy. And, I accidentally got cuffed a couple times. And we really hurt ourselves sometimes because everyone was very emotional in the scenes. And we're not trained stunt people, and we're doing the best we can. But to make it look real, sometimes things would go too far. In the end, I actually had a bunch of dialogue that I had to take out because from the choking scene, it went a little too far, and my vocal cords, like, I had no voice by the end of it, so I had to yell all my dialogue, and it sounded like I was being very passionate.
Right.
But it was the only way my voice would come out. We did. Lake and I were friends before.
We were like social acquaintances, and then obviously after this movie and during this movie, our bond has now fused into potentially family or sisterhood.
Yeah.
Right?
The traveling pants.
No pants.
But
No
Kate
traveling.
was a real special find. Lake
Yeah.
had known Kate socially, same thing. But I had never met her before. I have always loved her. I think she's got a really special quality. And so I was like, I don't think she's gonna be down for this.
And then you all sat down.
And then she sent her the script, and she really responded to it. And we sat down, and that girl is so pint-sized and so tiny, but her spirit is huge. She just has this laugh that will knock your socks off, and it makes me so happy because there's nothing I like more than someone who is visually beautiful to look at, but then is a total goober on the inside because it just balances everything out to zero again. And I'm like, oh, I can relate to you because you're fun and goofy and sweet. And
I think I think the biggest challenge was that everybody, the trifecta, and the guys too, had to be super game to go out on a limb.
And that
for a
was
lot
the
of this.
thing,
Yeah.
in picking actresses to do the things that I was requiring of them. It took a very specific personality type to be down for that and not be a pain in my ass, because there was enough that we had to do, enough challenges. The shoot was going to be hard enough as it was. The last thing I wanted to worry about was one of the actresses being like, oh my God, I'm freezing. I'm so cold. And these girls never did that. Every day they showed up totally game, totally down, would do as many takes as I needed, and came home with a smile on their face every night. And I could not have really expected that. I didn't dare to wish for that. I was just lucky that is what I got.